Hello everyone, welcome to Tuesday morning. We're here for another wonderful day, and we're learning together again this week, and we are on top of our game over the last couple weeks. I don't know if you noticed this or not, but I feel there's just an absolute energy, and I believe it's called like the tipping point. Malcolm Gladwell talks about it in one of his books, actually called The Tipping Point, that when there's so much energy and so much movement, all of a sudden there's a tipping point. Then all of a sudden things just begin to happen. And I've been having that over the last several months of my life, taking this no drifting, the things I've been learning in these books that we've been talking about, this no drifting challenge. Last week, this week featuring the book 3 Feet from Gold. I mean, there's just so much going on, and I'm feeling even in the community, people are responding what they've learned so well in the challenge from the chapter by chapter. More people are still accepting it. You know, I just feel like we're over this tipping point all of a sudden of energy, and if we can continue it, which I believe we can, and not drifting and not giving up and not quitting, I believe we're just going to continue to create even a more abundant existence, our true abundance. That's what this entire community is about. Mentorfish is about developing true abundance together. And there's no more effective way to develop it than by not drifting and learning these things and by not giving up. And this week I'm talking about principles found in the book 3 Feet from Gold. Sharon Lecter's other book that she co-authored. And it's another very powerful book. I highly recommended it. She highly personally recommended it to me. As I mentioned yesterday, I don't have to take those recommendations too far. I just say absolutely yes, buy it, and I read it. Because somebody recommends a book to me at that level, that's how powerful it is. And that's exactly what I'm doing for you. But I'm giving you the insights because as you read it, different things may stick out for you than stick out for me. But if something's creating value for me, that's exactly what this community is about. It's one of the biggest ways, in my opinion, that I can serve. If it creates value for me, I think, you know what? Maybe it'll create value for the community. Maybe it'll create value for you today in your home or in your marriage or in your job or in your business. And so that's why I love sharing these things. That's the whole point of these daily 15-minute pieces, just that I can connect with you and either share on things that you all are asking about or share on things that are real for me in the moment. And I think you've probably felt from me over the last several weeks that where I'm at right now is very, very real. I'm using these exact same principles, and we've got some stuff coming in Mentorfish that is just, again, taking everything to another level, and I've got to not drift. I've got to not give up. I got to not quit. I got to believe in the impossible because the things that are coming, and you're going to see some of them over the next several months, are going to absolutely blow your mind. There's things that have never been done before anywhere in the world, in my opinion, and from what I can find, and I believe it's a fact. I don't believe it's just my opinion. And we are going to serve. And when you see it, you're going to think back, oh my goodness, this is what he was been talking about. This is the things that he's been working on. Now I can totally get why the guy was so fired up and so passionate and so on top of everything for the last several months, because he's been planning this for us and for more, because he's about creating an impact. He's about educating people, educating everyone, everywhere, excluding no one. And we're committed to it. And so here's some great things I want to share with you today. I want to share with you some things because one of the authors of this book, his name's Greg, he was co-author with Sharon. And this book, I'm not going to give it all away, but he was interviewing Don Green. Don Green is the CEO of the Napoleon Hill Foundation. And so Don was talking about how do you not give up and all these different things that people struggle with in their life. And so I'm going to talk to you about not giving up today, because that's what the whole book's about, 3 Feet from Gold, not giving up right prior to 3 Feet from Gold. And you know, and Don had this quote. I want to read this to you because when I read it, it jumped out to me. So if it jumped out to me, I wanted to jump out to you as well so you can create the same value. Here's what he says, and this man is in charge of all the Napoleon Hill Foundation now, been around the world, knows the most successful people, and here's what he said about failure and about success. Before great success comes, you will surely meet with temporary defeat. That's important to know. Most people don't get that. They think success and failure are two separate things. They're not. They're all part of the same formula. Here's what he says. Before great success comes, surely you will meet with temporary defeat. When people are overtaken by these feelings, the easiest and perhaps the most logical thing to do is quit. And quitting is exactly what the majority of people do. And I wanted to bring that out to you because when I read that, I'm like, man, that is so true. Defeat and failure are all part of the formula of success. I don't know why we keep them so separate. Well, I'm failing now or I'm succeeding now. No, it's part of it. Right prior to any of the biggest successes that you'll experience in your life will probably directly follow a season of defeat or a season of valley. Some people, mountaintops and valleys. Some people call it a valley. But you've got to weather through that because you're very, very close. You may be only 3 feet from your goal. And it's actually shown, and it mentions in this book, that the actual line between success and failure is so crystal thin, some people don't even realize when they're on it. And then what happens is they get emotionally involved with where they're at, they get disappointed, and they quit and they give up. And so what he's saying is, Don Green gives a 3-step process. What he says is select your path. Select where you want to go. Okay, this is what he says. So select the direction. In my opinion, be like, what is your greatness? Where are you going to go? What's your passion? What's your purpose? Select your path. And then number 1, seek the counsels of those who have expertise beyond your own, which is something you all are very familiar with. But I'm just reconfirming what we're teaching here is right on number 1, and that you can hear from somebody else as well. So select the path that you're on. And number 1, seek the counsel of those who have expertise outside of your own. That's number 1. Number 2, never quit 3 feet from gold. Never quit too early. And basically that's the theory in this entire book. Never give up. And number 3, when you become successful, you will find others of whom you can mentor. Share with them the lessons that you have learned. And I love that. I think it's very, very important that you understand that, because we talk about that here in the community, the importance of mentoring. It's not just about me mentoring you, it's about us mentoring each other. I can't tell you much I learned from all of you. I hope you're learning something from me, and I know we're learning from each other. So it's about never giving up. It's about learning and being successful, and then passing on what it is that we know to other people. And when you know that's in front of you, sometimes when you know you're going to be successful, it's even bigger when you know that, hey, success is not a stopping point for you. It's another step along the journey of passing this knowledge on to other people so that they can become successful as well. It's not just about me being successful. It's not just about you being successful. That's not going to drive us long enough in our life not to quit. If it's just about you, that's why we meet so many people. They make it about themselves, and they get the millions, and they still feel empty. Or they get the contract, and they still feel unfulfilled. Or they get the title, and they don't know what to do next. It's got to be a bigger vision. So sometimes people quit because their why or their purpose isn't big enough. And we've got to learn that being successful is something that we can help other people do as well. But here's something else. There's something else from this book, and this is wonderfully put as well. I want to read this to you. It's the difference between succeeding and not. The problem is almost everyone listens to other people's opinions rather than seeking good counsel. Because we just got done saying, number 1 was to seek out counsel. Now this is very important. I want you to hear this because this is huge. And I'm reading it. So this is not me saying it. This is in the book, 3 Feet from Gold, all right? It's the difference between succeeding and not. The problem is almost everyone listens to other people's opinions rather than seeking out good counsel. It's like this. Opinions are usually based on ignorance, or shall we say a lack of knowledge, whereas counsel is based on wisdom and experience. So when you're seeking on what not to do next, or rather what not to quit or how not to quit, the first thing we often do is when we have that energy or that feeling in our life, we ask people's advice, or we think we are. But we don't get advice and counsel, we actually get opinions. And here's the deal. If they've never done what you're wanting to do, how are they advised on helping you? How are they qualified to help you? Many of you have heard me say this before. This is a very powerful statement. It's a waste of your time to discuss a problem with someone who's incapable of solving it. I'm going to say that again. It's a waste of your time to discuss a problem with someone who's incapable of solving it. And we often take people's opinions as advice or counsel. And what we just read there was, if they don't have the experience or the knowledge, it's just an opinion. You've got to seek counsel, not opinions. And I love what he said. You know what they call it? If you've never done it before, it's called pooled ignorance. I love that, pooled ignorance. You know, if you ask a bunch of people their opinion, but yet they've never done what you're wanting to do, all it is pulled together ignorance. I thought it was so powerful. I highlighted, I made a note on it. I mean, and so many people fall for taking pooled ignorance as a last piece of advice that they make decisions off of, and then they give up and quit. It's like if you want to write a book. That's the example the book actually puts out. You want to write a book. So you go to all your friends. What do you think about writing a book? Or you take it to your family. What do you think about me writing a book? Some of you are knowing direct sales. What do you think about me starting a direct sales business for myself? And you're asking a whole bunch of people that have never done it before. So they're going to tell you, oh, writing a book? Who do you think you want to write a book? That's not possible. What do you have to share? Blah, 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 blah. And they're going to share it, and you're going to talk to a whole bunch of people that have never written books, and all you're going to get is a bunch of pooled ignorance. Then you're going to use that ignorance to probably talk yourself out of writing a book. Versus if you talk to a publisher, say, I'm thinking about writing a book. The publisher's going to say, okay, well, here's some things to watch out for. This is what to do. This might be some of your struggles. This is what you could focus on. Here's what the talents that you do have. Here's the stories you could tell. And they're going to tell you all the reasons why it could work. So see, sometimes simply who we talk about what we're going to do with next can make all the difference in our journey. Seek counsel, not opinions. That's one of the biggest things I want to give you today, because I think it will help people not give up and quit. So many people quit because of other people's opinions. So many people quit right short of their breakthrough. So many people give up right next to their 3 feet from goal. Somebody quit right before they go around the next corner. The next corner had the next perfect person or the next level of success. I'm going to tell you, I'm not quitting. I'm not going to stop 3 feet from goal. I'm not going to stop right prior to the next corner where things are going to get even bigger. I'm not asking people's opinion. I'm seeking people's advice and counsel that have experience in what we're going to the next level in. So know that in your life. Ask yourself, if you're discouraged and you're thinking about quitting, qualify the opinions that you've had. Are they opinions or is it counsel? If it's opinions, throw it out because nobody's opinion is better than anybody else's. And if they don't have the ability to help you solve the problem, ask yourself, why are you sharing it with them? Brainstorm with somebody that's beyond where you're at that can give you insight and perspective on how to help you move forward. And I believe it may help you be what they call in the book stick-to-itiveness. I think it'll help you have a stick-to-itiveness that maybe you wouldn't have had before. And you won't be tempted to quit as soon as something gets discouraged in your life, all right? Take that for what it's worth today. I think it's huge, the difference between opinion and wise counsel. There's a huge gap there. All right, let's jump to an article now by my original mentor. And the headline for this article is called Vegetarians Becoming Flexitarians. Many people are becoming part-time vegetarians. The American Dialect Society calls them flexitarians. I believe in being a flexitarian, not in terms of the diet, but also in a mindset for living. Flexibility, or a willingness to adapt and change, is a key element for success in any arena of life. Noted author and playwright George Bernard Shaw stated, "Progress is impossible without change." Yet there is a challenge. Change by itself can be disastrous. Any successful endeavor may have some form of structure or leads to chaos and uncertainty. On the other side of the coin, structure without the attitude of change leads to stagnation and an eventual death. Therefore, in every situation, one must find balance between structure and flexibility. With that understanding, here is the key to the successful utilization of the mindset of change. Recognize that change is not a concept just to be ingrained into long-range planning. To be really effective, flexibility must be integrated into one's daily routine. For instance, each day I have plans, schedules, and/or appointments. My day has a pre-planned flow to it, but I live my life ready to adjust or alter my plans as new opportunities appear or circumstances change. I realize, as I often stated, that God cannot effectively use or bless anyone who is not willing to be interrupted. This strategy allows me to continually be open to fresh input and to seize the best for any given day for my life in general. In the story of Elijah, the flexibility mindset is demonstrated. Because he had this perspective, he embraced a major career change. In the story, Elijah was in the field plowing away. I'm not sure if he had a plan set out for how many furrows he would plow that day, but then the prophet Elijah walked by and called him to join him. And he left his oxen and he ran after his new friend Elijah. Because he was willing to quickly change his actions, he was able to seize the opportunity. I just read about this in Truett Cathy's book, Eat More Chicken and Be Inspired. He had that same mentality, live every single day to the best of his ability, but be always open to opportunity. Here are some keys that have helped me become a change maker. Number one, stability. I strive for stability, performance, and structure. However, I recognize that the only eternal things are really permanent. Number two, attitude. I think of change not as inconveniences, but as a new adventure. That's a wonderful mentality to have. Number three, readiness. I live ready to change. Thinking of potential changes in advance, I develop action plans to deal with the opportunities if they occur. Number four, timing. Although one can alter one's path at almost any time, some moments are more favorable for doing so than others. I attempt to be sensitive to what is going on so that I can perceive the right moment to make my changes. Number five, rapid response. When an opportunity that demands change occurs, I move quickly. Speed is often the difference between success and a missed opportunity. John H. Patterson once said, "Only fools and dead men don't change their minds. Fools won't, dead men can't." Determine to make yourself more flexible and ready for positive change. Here's a PowerPoint question for today. How well do you anticipate and/or adjust for changes? The number one ingredient we have seen in successful operations is flexibility. Jacqueline Wander, the co-author of The Flexible Factor. Being flexible, being open is huge. Bob talked about it here. As I mentioned, Truett Cathy talked about it in his book. It's about having a plan for your day, having a structure, but at the same time, being open for an opportunity, being open to shift, being open to a change. Because I've met so many people, they're so structured, man, if one thing moves, it ruins their entire day, their entire week, or their entire month. Don't be that. Have a plan, but be flexible. Be a flexitarian, as the article states. And I think you'll create some very good successes in your life. So I hope you created value today. We'll be back tomorrow with some more important lessons from this very powerful book, 3 Feet from Gold. 3 Feet from Gold. So have a great afternoon. We'll talk again soon. God bless you.